Hey, what's up guys? How are you guys doing today? It's Eli5 back at you guys with another video. But before we start this video, I just have a quick question to ask you guys. How far do you guys think the Houston Rockets are going to go in the playoffs? To be real with you guys, the Houston Rockets really have been underachieving expectations. I thought they was going to be better than what they are as of right now prior to the start of this season. But I guess things don't work out the way it's supposed to sometimes. But other than that, let us start today's video. Now, today's video involves the way the Houston Rockets have been playing as of lately and how I think they will do in the playoffs, and they really haven't been as good of a team as I've expected them to be. To be real, I've expected this team to be a top 3 seed in the West, but currently, my favorite team, the OKC Thunder, has a better record than the Rockets do as of right now. To me, this is crazy because if the OKC Thunder gets further in the playoffs than the Rockets do, then Westbrook will get a lot of criticism guaranteed. My reason to this is because there was some, but not a lot of controversy back then stating that Westbrook was the reason for the OKC Thunder's failures, and now if they do better than the Rockets this season, then the critics will see a clear path in order to have a valid reason to hate on Westbrook even more. But to be honest, the problems with the Houston Rockets isn't Westbrook's fault at all. Westbrook is having a great season this year. Westbrook is the main reason as to why the Houston Rockets are able to win the games that they do. He plays hard every single game, he has very good playmaking, and he's able to put pressure on the opposing team's defense at all times with his athleticism and speed. But the thing is, the way Westbrook plays, I don't think is going to win games in the playoffs. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but it is the honest to God truth, and you're just going to have to hear me out. Me being an OKC fan for years has seen this problem dozens of times, and not many people acknowledges it because they are too caught up into being Westbrook fans. Westbrook is a very arrogant player, and that alone is a main factor that can lead the Rockets into a deep hole that the Rockets can't climb out of during the playoffs. As we all know, last year in the playoffs, Damian Lillard was able to get into Westbrook's head. Westbrook was talking junk to Lillard the whole series. Because of this, Westbrook wanted to prove that he was the better player than Lillard, but due to this, he was taking wilder shots than he normally takes. He was trying to do things that he literally isn't able to do at an effective rate, and he was trying to basically play one-on-one with Lillard rather than playing team ball. Damian Lillard simply kept his cool, and he waved off Westbrook and the OKC Thunder with the iconic shot he hit in Game 5. As an OKC fan, I really was stunned over these events, and this is where I saw the honest to God truth that trading Westbrook would be the best decision, but that's not where it ends though. In the 2018 playoffs, Westbrook showed his same exact act of arrogance trying to quote-unquote shut down Ricky Rubio in Game 4. In the interview, Westbrook was asked a question about Ricky Rubio, and Westbrook basically said he was going to lock Ricky Rubio up and dominate him the whole next game. Well, he was playing more aggressive that game, and that led him to be in serious foul trouble before the third quarter even started. Ricky Rubio still had a great game, and Westbrook and the OKC Thunder went down 3-1 in that series, and Westbrook was the main reason why they lost that game. Westbrook is known for being very cocky and talking a lot of junk, but if you can't back yourself up, then what is the point of talking? And his inefficiency doesn't help either. I'm not going to take Westbrook's credit away because he is still a very good player, but he has too many flaws that is able to make his team lose in the long run. In my opinion, he is only a player that can win games in the regular season, but when the playoffs come around, he seems to get that same arrogance every time, and it always leads him to being a first round exit. Honest to God, OKC should have beat that Utah Jazz team in 2018 and that Blazers team in 2019. OKC's rosters had better players and they were more experienced players than both of those teams, but Westbrook always found a way to lead his team to lose at the end of the day, and his inefficiency doesn't help either. Westbrook has always had this same mindset since he was younger, and it is clear that he hasn't changed one bit. There is no way you have Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Jeremy Grant, Dennis Schroeder, Steven Adams, and more of these good role players on your team in regards to both the 2018 and 2019 NBA seasons, and you can't even put up a good enough fight in the first round of the playoffs. It's honestly sad looking back at it. Having said all of this, Westbrook's arrogance and his stubbornness can be the main factor as to why the Houston Rockets can potentially be early exits out of the playoffs this year. But Westbrook isn't the only problem to the Houston Rockets that you should keep in mind. James Harden has been playing terrible as of lately. I don't care that he is averaging 30 plus points a game. If you are a fan that looks at stats and uses that to determine if a player is good, then I'm sorry, but you do not watch basketball. James Harden is probably the most inefficient player that I have ever seen in today's NBA. In my opinion, James Harden is more inefficient than Westbrook is. Harden is the type of player to dribble the whole clock out and call non-stop ISO plays and just chuck up a bad shot. When it goes in, it's pretty, but that hasn't been the main case this whole season. He has had a lot of games where he shot over 10 3-pointers and only made like 2 or 3 of them. That is not good at all. His game involves him needing his team to play a certain way in order to make James Harden be effective, and that is to stay on the perimeters of the 3-point line and just staying there until James Harden makes a move. This type of play is not going to win the Rockets a championship, and that has been proven all of the other times the Rockets lost in the playoffs. And to add on, his turnover rate doesn't help either. He turns the ball over like crazy, and that alone can drain the momentum out of the team as a whole. The other night, he had a quadruple double involving himself having 10 turnovers that same game. If Harden doesn't have the ball in his hands, he is literally useless. This is why players like Stephen Curry is recognized as the player that he is today. Curry isn't a player that always needs the ball in his hands to strive. He doesn't have to ISO every single play in order to be effective. Curry is able to move off with the ball, and he is still a threat on the court. This leads to Curry having many other ways to be effective on the court in order for his team to win. James Harden without the ball in his hands is a no-show. If a team stops James Harden's ISO play, then Harden simply chucks up wild shots to try to get out of his slump, and 80% of the time, it leads the Rockets into a deeper hole than before. But the main reason as to why the Rockets have been underachieving is the fact that they literally have no big man. I know the small ball strategy has been working for a while now, but that isn't going to work forever. And we've seen that with all of the losses they took to the Knicks, the Hornets, and the Magic. Losing to these 3 teams is inexcusable. I know you aren't going to win every single game, but being on a losing streak with these 3 teams involved is terrible. When they played against the Knicks, they lost because the Rockets got killed on the glass. I don't remember exactly, but I think the Knicks had like 30 more rebounds than the Rockets did that game, and that is because the Rockets have no big man to grab boards. In the game they played against the Clippers, you see Kawhi Leonard dunking all over the Houston Rockets and Zubac having a field day on offensive rebounds, and he also dunked on somebody that same game. In the playoffs, I see this being the Houston Rockets' biggest downfall. I really don't know why they traded Clint Capella. He was a very good player for the Houston Rockets and he had great chemistry with them. But before this season started, I had a gut feeling that Westbrook and Harden on the same team wouldn't work out the way the fans expected it to. Having 2 of the most ball-dominant players in the league on the same team is not easy to play with. Westbrook and Harden together need the ball in their hands in order to be effective, and at the end of the day, there is only one basketball on the court at a time. The Houston Rockets live and die by the 3, and that is also a reason as to why the Rockets won't ever win a championship. If the Rockets' 3-pointers aren't falling, they will continue to shoot 3-pointers, and it will lead them to lose worse than what they should be losing by. We've already seen this when they played against the Warriors in Game 7 in 2018. They set a record for the most missed 3s in a row in one game, and that caused them to lose that game. Living and dying by the 3 is effective when the shots are falling, but those shots aren't going to fall every single game, and this team's playbook involves them to outshoot a team every single game. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that I've made a lot of valid points in this video? I think I've made enough points to make you guys understand as to why the Houston Rockets won't win a championship anytime soon. They have been playing bad lately, and most of those losses came from the reasons that I've already explained to you guys. Other than that, that will be the end of today's video. Make sure you guys leave a like to this video and subscribe to this channel for more content. I will greatly appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.